Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles is finally out on modern consoles. Aspyr, as they have previously done with a load of other Star Wars games, have brought this to the Xbox, PC, PS5, and I even think the Switch. And I've heard some pretty mixed things about this game. A lot of people say it's quite frustrating, the platforming is a bit weird. In general, people seem to think that this game is just kind of frustrating. And I would totally agree, because I started up the first level, and it was going all well and good. It was a bit clunky, as in, I had to sort of figure out the ropes where you almost always need to block. You basically never want to really engage in melee combat. All you really need to do is find a sweet spot where the droids won't run to you and melee combat you, but also you're not too far where they won't shoot you. So you find that sweet spot and then you just deflect their blasters back, because if you get caught in a situation where there's a droid or two attacking you with melee combat and then there's another droid shooting you off in the distance, the game just gets really frustrating, because they'll just hit you and keep hitting you, and then a blaster bolt will come in and it will hit you again. You're just like, I don't know, this game is just so weird. And then there was a boss in, I believe, the first level where the ship would shoot projectiles at you, but you couldn't actually see the start of the projectiles because they blended in with the background. And eventually I beat him, but I was just like, God, this game is weird. And then I played another couple of levels and I started to get the ropes. I started to learn, okay, I just sort of need to stay back, block, do a couple of combos, block again, take things slow. Don't jump around because the blaster bullets will basically just follow you. And, you know, I was kind of getting the hang of it. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. You get to play as all these characters. You get to look at the character models, which are absolutely hilarious. I played as Qui-Gon Jinn, and the character model for Liam Neeson is, I don't know. It's very, very interesting. But I was like, yeah, it's a cool game. You get to see the locations from the first movie. And, you know, I love Revenge of the Sith. I started a channel on the Revenge of the Sith game. And this is almost, it feels like a precursor to that, because a lot of what's in this game is eventually what Revenge of the Sith would become, and Revenge of the Sith is a way better game than this. And then I got to the palace level, and that was when I started to really get the ropes. I was getting good at the combat, learned a couple of combos, learned how to block, all this sort of stuff, and I was going through the level, and I was like, oh, I just realized I got to basically the halfway point of this level, and I didn't die. And at this point, you have to escort Padme, and the droids will attack her, so you have to defend her. And that was all well and good. I was doing good. And then I noticed that there was a collectible off in the distance. And I left Padme for, I don't know, maybe 5 seconds. She got a couple of hits. And then it popped up, objective failed. And I was like, oh, that's kind of annoying. But they gave me a checkpoint not too long ago, so it's fine. But no, instead of sending me back to the checkpoint like every single other state has, if I die or if I fall off the map, I get sent back to the last checkpoint. But here, they just decide to void all your progress in the level and send you all the way back to the start. And I was just sitting there with the controller in my hand like, what the hell even happened there? And that was sort of the moment where I was like, this game isn't for me. I thought I might have been able to persevere because I was starting to get the hang of things, and then that hit me and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to play this game anymore. But today, this video is going to be slightly different, because usually I beat the game, or I try to beat the game. I sit down, I talk about it, give you my thoughts, tell you what aged well, what didn't age well. If I have a story time with the game, which for this game I don't because I've never played it before, I tell the story. But today we're going to do something slightly different. I'm actually going to set myself a challenge. I'm going to redo that level. I'm going to take you through the level so that you can actually understand the frustration that I'm talking about. Because a lot of the times when I do these videos, when I talk about certain games being frustrating, a lot of people in the comments get in who say, oh no, this game isn't frustrating, you just don't understand this, or you didn't get this mechanic, or blah blah blah. And sometimes that is the case. Sometimes I don't fully understand these games because it might be my first time ever playing it, and somebody who has a lot of experience with it might know a couple of things that I don't. And that's all well and good, and sometimes them tips do come in handy. But today I actually want to show you my frustration. I will take you through this level, show you what way the game wants you to play it, how the platforming doesn't exactly work very well, especially if you have no momentum. It's really strange. How the combos just don't really feel good. In general, this game just doesn't have a good feel about it, and I think that's the ultimate thing. Or maybe if I get through the level on the video, I might have an epiphany and say, oh, I really like this game, or I can tolerate this game, I might beat it, and then maybe do a video later on the line. So let's switch over to the game. So here is Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. Here you can see the amazing art from the PS1. Qui-Gon Jinn looks like Liam Neeson. Mace Windu, he looks a bit like Samuel L. Jackson. And then you have Ewan McGregor. That doesn't look like Ewan McGregor. I don't know what they were trying to do here. But it's a fairly basic, like the menus are very basic. There's a training mode, versus mode, all this sort of stuff. I will continue my game. It is couch co-op, which is really cool. I appreciate that. And you can actually choose your character. So the selection here, I'm not sure if these characters are like brought in because of the remaster or maybe they're cut content, but it's really cool. You can play as Obi-Wan. You can play as Qui-Gon Jinn, which is who I played because he's my favorite. Play as Mace Windu, which again is cool. And a little thing here is that in the original game, he actually had a blue lightsaber, so you can actually change the color of the lightsaber, which is pretty cool. Now you can play with his purple lightsaber. I've no idea why it was blue or purple, but still, really cool. And then you have Adi Gallia. I don't really know that character. I like Star Wars, but I'm not crazy into Star Wars. You have Plo Koon, who was a character that I think a lot of people love because of this game or whatever. And interestingly, and I might have to do a level here as Darth Maul. You can play as Darth Maul, and if you grew up watching these movies, I was a bit too young for this movie specifically. I was born in 98, but eventually I did go on to watch Revenge of the Sith and all that. But everyone knows that if you were a kid, Darth Maul is like the coolest thing in the world. And then obviously you can play as Queen Amidala. I always call her Amygdala and not Amidala. I don't know why. I just get stuck in there. And then you have Captain Panaka. You have Ki Adi Mundi. Again, these are characters that I know. Obviously I recognize him from the movie, but I'm not a massive like Star Wars lore nerd. And then he can play as a battle droid, which is pretty interesting. So I'm used to playing as Qui-Gon Jinn. I know a couple of his combos, so we'll go with Qui-Gon Jinn. So the first level, you play on the Trade Federation battleship, and then you go to the swamps of Naboo, and then you go to the city outside of the palace, and then you're in the palace. And this is the level that made me give up. So I'm going to jump into it, and I'll show you, because it does have some cool ideas. As in, I can see this as almost like a precursor to the likes of Revenge of the Sith on the PS2, or even the Lord of the Rings games on the PS2. There's a lot of similarities. You have multiple characters to choose from. You can level them up in different ways. You can get different combos. As a premise, it's cool. In execution, it's kind of frustrating. So first, here is Qui-Gon Jinn. Yes, that is Liam Neeson. Everybody looks like they're playing on big head mode. I don't know why. And this is what I was talking about here. So you kind of want to get into this distance where he's attacking, you see? And then you want to just deflect a bolt. Because the melee combat doesn't feel good. And here it's the same. You want to just do the same, because if I have too many droids attacking me at once, you will just get comboed into getting shot while also getting hit. And then you'll struggle and you'll start taking a lot of damage. But eventually, like, some of these droids get good at blocking and all this sort of stuff. So you have to watch out. You have little items that you pick up there that can be used as like throwing bombs. You also have force powers, which can come in handy. But like the window to use them is really unresponsive is the word I would use. So again, here it's like you just sort of have to wait for them to block. And then, or to attack, and then you block, and then you attack them. It's like, it's very just slow in a way that I don't really like. That, actually, no, that was the combo I was using for this level. Triangle, triangle, circle, and it does that. And here's a little force power collectible. Oh! See, this is what I mean. You could just get, like, comboed in there, and it just doesn't feel good. That's the only thing I can explain. Or the only way I can describe it is that it just simply doesn't feel good. And later on in this level, there's some platforming that I will show you, and I'll explain why the platforming doesn't feel good either. And here we have these unique droids that are like... They look like the battle droids from Revenge of the Sith. Well, they're from everything, but I just associate them with Revenge of the Sith. But they're normal droids? Are these a thing, or... Again, as I said, I'm not like a Star Wars nerd. So are they a thing in the lore? Or is that just they ran out of room for models, so they just made a blue droid? These guys are actually really easy to kill, which is pretty interesting. When I first saw them, I thought they were going to be a pain. Because on the first level, everything was going good. And then I met a droid Eka. And that was when the game sort of forced me to use deflect. And I guess if we want to put our game design cap on, then there you go. It taught me that I had to use deflect. But again, nothing really feels amazing in the game. And this is what I mean. When you have an enemy like this, they're the ones that block a lot. So you actually don't, like, I don't want to get close to him. So I just basically want to do that. Okay, so this is the section with the platforming that I want to explain. Just a little quick one. So if you jump with no momentum, it's very difficult to get any movement. That's me holding the analog stick all the way. So if you want to do a tight jump, you almost have to do a 180 like that. And if you're on a small platform, which you do in some of the other levels because you're like jumping on mushrooms, it can get really annoying. So you have to constantly keep your momentum. So for here, there's not really a place for me to properly run. So I have to do like that weird like spin jump. And you also have these feckers. So same thing here. Just keep like, you have to almost keep your momentum. And it just like, it just doesn't feel good. It's as simple as that. And when you die, if you die from fall damage, or if you fall off a platform, you don't just, as I said, you don't just lose stuff. Lose health or something. Oh, well, I just died. There's death number 1. So, like, as you can see, this level is actually going pretty good because this is when I figured out how to do things. I was like, oh yeah, I understand how to play this game. The only thing is, when it comes to actually playing the game, I don't think doing this is fun. Like, as in, I know this is a PS1 game, so maybe comparing it to a PS2 game is a fairly rough comparison, but when I think of a licensed PS1 game, or just a licensed game full stop, you want it to make you feel like whatever you are trying to feel like, you know, whether it be Aragorn or Gimli, or whether it be Anakin or Obi-Wan, like they want to make you feel like that. And to me, sitting here, slowly blocking, getting a single combo off, and then waiting for a blaster to shoot you, and then deflecting it. I know they are technically what Jedi do, but it doesn't make me feel like a Jedi. And as I said, I don't think the game feels very good. I don't think the combos feel satisfying. The platforming doesn't feel good. I don't think the level design is bad. I don't think the bosses are particularly bad. But again, the majority of the boss fights are literally just that. You are waiting for 3 blaster bolts to deflect, and then you deflect them, and then you just wait around, you know? And it's a lot. It's very similar with the combat here. Like, as I said, if I engage in melee combat with these droids, I would have taken a lot of damage because it's just that difficult to sort of block and get a melee attack in at the same time. So all I need to do is this. There you go. That's just a winning formula for this game. And then when you have one droid, it is fairly easy, but you are just incentivized to just do this. And that, to me, that just doesn't feel very good. And now we're getting to the stage. This was the part where the level got me. I'll see if I'll be able to do it. Where I kill these droids if Padme, spoilers, wants to come and help me. Well, technically, no, that wouldn't be Padme, wouldn't it not, in this movie? So this is where I got to. So you're doing this. So we pick this up. And now I need to get ahead of her, because this is where she died. Quick, I'm faster than you. And I have to stay proactive. But I literally died on these stairs here, and it just said, objective failed, sent me all the way back to the start. And the thing is, this is... I said at the start of the video, like, this is going to be me showing you my frustration. But this is me after playing the game already for, give or take, 2 hours and sort of learning the ropes. So if you had saw my frustration yesterday... Now, I'm not really an angry gamer, I never have been. But if you saw my frustration yesterday, it was way worse. Because I was trying to figure out everything. And this is the example of the melee with range combat. It's just like... I don't know. This doesn't feel very good. So there's that level done, okay? So that wasn't too bad. And here at the end of the level, this is what I like, is that there is a lot of content. If you want to go back, you can do all these different levels. And you can, with the different characters, I presume different characters have different combos, different fighting styles. You also get a load of different combos. Now, I don't think I want to get too jazzy with the combos. And then we get a defense bonus. So now we're going to Tatooine, where we're going to see Anakin. It would have been nice to have some cutscenes in between. I don't know if the original did, and maybe they couldn't have them in the remake. I don't know. You're going to have to let me know in the comments if you played this game before. So I guess we'll just keep going, and as you can see... Oh, I love it. Look at what Tatooine looks like back in the distance. That's hilarious. And yeah, we have young Annie here. They're getting shots off after they die. Oh, and what? I used my ranged attack and it just automatically locked onto young Anakin. I do not know what's going on here. I think with no escorting, this game is way better. The other missions were totally tolerable. And I think the thing with the escorting missions is they will be tolerable if you don't die. As in, if you don't fail the objective. Oh no, we got some dreaded platforming while there's enemies shooting me. Oh, this is... Okay, I managed to get over. See, once you can make the first jump and sort of get over to the first platform, you're doing pretty good. So, hopefully I don't die here. Luckily there was a checkpoint there. Do I really care about the force powers? I mean, I sort of have to, don't I? Oh, get up! So, I think I might be coming around to this game. To the fact that I'm not going to sit here and say it's great, because it certainly isn't. I probably won't even say that it's good. But maybe enough to warrant a full playthrough. Beat the game. And yes, I don't know, maybe try out another character? Maybe? Because that's the thing with frustration. It's like, it could just hit you at different points. And especially with older games, like obviously on this little retro journey, as I like to say, you learn different things. You learn that you remember certain things better or worse than they actually are. And you learn that, oh, a lot of games maybe aren't as bad as you think they are. And sometimes, and I do genuinely believe this because I've had this a lot, you literally just need to sleep on it. And I will be totally honest about that. Like, I've playing some of these older games, I have had moments where I'm like, I do not want to play this game anymore. Not because the game is... See, there's a difference between a game being hard and a game being frustrating. Like, I did a video on Donkey Kong Country, which you should probably go watch if you want. And Donkey Kong Country is a game that is hard and with save states. So you don't have to use the old original saves, as in how it used to work, because that was frustrating. With save states, the game isn't exactly frustrating, it's just hard. And I think there is a difference. Now, this game, I believe, isn't hard. I'm not saying this game is on the level of Donkey Kong Country in terms of balance and game feel and all that sort of stuff. This game would be more on the frustrating side, but sometimes your frustration just sort of disappears after you've sort of slept on it. Like, I mean, I'm a big Souls player. I've played a lot of them. I've played all of them. And I played all of them multiple times, maybe bar Dark Souls 3. And obviously them games are hard and they're frustrating as well at the same time. But the amount of times where I would sit on a boss and I would die 15 times, you'd be like, oh, feck this, I'm not beating this boss, ever. And then you'll just sleep on it, and then your body just sort of learns. It's like it just passively learns things, and I know that is actually how it works, because I've taught myself guitar, so it does actually work like that, definitely. But yeah, sometimes you just have to sleep on it. Now, am I saying this game is top quality, and that I would want to play it loads? No, I don't think so. I mean, Aspyr they're doing a good job with a lot of these ports. Some of them better than others. I mean, the KOTOR ports are good, but quite buggy. I mean, I played KOTOR 2 on the Switch, and that had a game-breaking bug. Now, the odds are some of that actually comes from the base game, not just the port, because them base games were broken as well. But, like, I mean, they're really starting to not scrape the barrel, but they're definitely getting to the lower end of the Star Wars games now. And the fact that this is out, I know this doesn't have clips from the movie, but it does use the actors' likenesses and stuff. The fact that this is out now, I kind of hold out hope that maybe one day we will get a Revenge of the Sith remaster. Because my thought on it all was that with the licensed movie games, they would struggle a bit more because of obviously the license and stuff and whatever. Whereas with, say, I know they did Episode 1 Pod Racers, they did this, but with like Republic Commando, that isn't a movie license. There's no actors involved in that maybe there's some weird rights things. So I'm hoping that at some point in the hopefully near future, we will get a Revenge of the Sith remaster with trophies, which I think will be absolutely amazing. Because there is one thing that sort of has me interested, maybe a bit more willing to put up with this game, is the fact that there are trophies. And I mean, I'm getting trophies for beating levels. I'm getting trophies for beating levels with certain scores, which I just really like. I'm not really a platinum hunter, but I do like trophies. So yeah, I think that's I think it's a great idea what they're doing, and I hope in the near future we will see a Revenge of the Sith remake, because I love that game. So there we have it. I guess I will play more of this game. Again, is it amazing? No, it isn't. Is it good? I'm not even sure if it's good, but it's certainly playable. And from what I can see, it seems like a decent port. There doesn't seem to be any audio glitches or any frame rate problems or crashes or anything like that. So far, it seems to work pretty well. So if you like this style of content, obviously this is something a bit newer, let me know. And if you want just in general more chill retro content where we go back, we play loads of old games, we play remasters of old games, I have loads of CRTs, please subscribe. Join the channel members down below if you really want to support the channel, because every little helps, as Tesco say. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video. Goodbye.